what's your AKA for the music
Okay.
industry?
So for music parts, I go by Danorin and currently signed to a label called Small Room ครับ
Okay.
Right.
So begin with the question. So can you tell me a bit about how you started your business?
For sure. When it comes to Blueprint Livehouse, the idea was conceived around 2022, and I hit up a lot of my friends in the industry. There's Pinu that I mainly know, and he had a team of people. Pibin, Pinit, Himaki, that was already working with him on certain projects. So I would reach out to Pinu and let him know that, okay, there's this location which is out here that's renting out. It's possible for us to do something, because sometime before that, Pinu was the one that initiated. He would tell me that he one day wants to open a live house, and they're still searching for a location. And with my personal expertise, I tried my hand at opening a live house years ago. I would say 7-8 years ago. It used to be in Tonglor. It was called De Commune, but that wasn't just my project. It was a lot of people too. But I only founded it, like started it, but that was it. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it seemed like 1 year apart from
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Yeah, for sure. So 2022 was, I think, the year that COVID was like slowly fading out and everything was slowly becoming normal again.
Makes sense. So what inspired you to enter this particular industry?
I think my tour in Japan with my older band when I was like 18, 19, we went to tour in Shimokitazawa, which is like a small town in Tokyo. And I realized there were so many live houses there. There was this place called Basement Bar and this bar called 3. And I was like, wow, this is something I haven't seen back home, because in Thailand, talking about 9 years ago, when musicians would play, it's usually pubs and bars. And yeah, and there's no space, like without chairs and stuff, just like a empty lot for audience to stand and enjoy music. That wasn't exist, like there was no. The closest thing we had back then was Play Yard, I would say. Play Yard Studio Bar is this like little venue in Lat Pao, which is now closed for the past 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I would say that's the closest thing we had. But at the same time, like a full-on functioning live house was yet to exist at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of initial challenges you faced when you starting out the business?
Initially, it was explaining to people what the concept of live house was. Because when I said live house, like some people were like, huh, live house? What's live house? You know? And I was like, okay, that's the first step, is explaining to people what live house was. And then the next
also
step,
questioning as well.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And the next step is like the audience and the artist, like to get them on board, you know, because it's like a pyramid, I think, this business. So there's us, Blueprint, and then there has to be a surviving, like an active audience, and the artist. So three like core elements, you know. Triangulate, yeah, for us to like make sure everybody understand the concept. Sometimes not just audience and not just the artist, but ourselves too. Before we did it, we had to make sure everybody was on the same page and understood what we're trying to do.
Okay,
Yeah,
so how would you describe your business model?
Wow, I would say this one is a strange one, because we don't have anything to base our model on at all. Like it was so hard to do case study or research for live house in Thailand, because nobody did it before us. Like we had nothing to really hold on to. But it was all like, for me, it was play it by ear. But Pinu, my shareholder, is the one with the numbers. Like he was the one calculating everything, that okay, we need to do this and price this around here for us to survive, you know, like
kind of like accountant, right?
Yes. So he suggested a model where for the live house to survive, right, we must do everything in percentage. So the artist would get a certain percentage and we would get a certain percentage.
Okay. What sets your business apart from the competition?
I would say I don't even know if we have competition. It's so weird, you know. Like
Yeah,
if I'm answering straightforward,
yeah.
if there was like 3 or 4 live house I can pick my finger on right now, then I would say like it would be easier to map out. But because there's I don't know any other venue with the same size and the same type of like operation, so it's really hard to answer that one. But if it's if it's just other venues that isn't a live house, I would say our curation, sense of curation. We are very open to every weird things, every weird bands. You know, we listen to every corner of the Thai scene. So sometimes we bring the most like unique bands ever. At the same time, we don't close doors for already established bands too. Bands that are already established, like big bands, are also welcome. Yeah. So I think that's what's different about us. We can host any band in Bangkok here. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, sounds great. How do you ensure consistent quality in your product or services?
This is something we talk about all the time because we're all of us are workaholics and we're very obsessed with details. And because there's like 8 of us, we all have our little parts to fill. So we're always in check with each other. You know, like if everybody's like burned out or tired or something, because that's when we know the quality is gonna potentially drop. Someone will always be able to fill in for another person. There's no room for anything to really like um I would say in terms of quality, there's really no room for degrade when it's communication is open. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
see. So, what are the biggest challenges your business currently faces?
I think it's a seasonal thing. Like right now, for example, it's rainy season,
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel like the venue because I'm sick too, you know. So everybody's sick right now.
Yeah.
Like audience, shareholder, musicians, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a seasonal thing. Like, right now it's raining and the traffic's crazy the past few weeks. So traffic at Blueprint is also not as much as where we usually should be. But at the same time, we would fix it by doing like just different types of lineup that would.
So next, what strategy have you been most effective in growing your businesses?
I would say word of mouth. If any product is good enough, I feel like friends would always want to recommend each other. There's been no promotion at all since we opened, only like organic. So no strategy except for like making sure the poster's nice, making sure the lineup is curated well. Like this band works with this band because why, and aesthetic is important, but that's already like a poster,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share a significant milestone or success story that your business had been achieved?
Milestones, right?
Yeah.
I would say like having one of our favorite bands to come play, like Mass of Fermented Bricks, it's just a lot of our shareholders are into Japanese music scene. So just having our favorite bands to come play, that's rewarding. Yeah.
And like in the next month, Lan Dok Mai will come, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's my favorite band as
Oh,
well.
awesome. I'm hosting that one actually.
Yeah. So you do the graphic for that one, or?
No, Pibin, our shareholder, does graphic for like 95% of our posters. Yeah.
It's kind of like American comic, right?
I would say so. But we would have to ask Pibin. Yeah.
Okay. What are some key factors to have contribute to your business's success?
Key factors. Honestly, I don't even know. Like when we opened, we tried all the numbers. We tried calculating everything if this would profit. Everything came out red, like there was no chance. I still don't know why we decided to like really go and open, like, other than the fact that we all really wanted to. So that was it. I don't think there's any key factor unless you really, really want to do it.
How do you manage and motivate your team?
Okay, so I would feel like nowadays there's two sets of teams. Main team is just the shareholders, 8 of us, all active. We always, in a way, like motivate each other without us knowing. It's just because everybody's so obsessed with the venue. We always talk about it, brainstorm ideas, and it's always like, that's a good idea, that's a crazy idea. Let's do it. That's what motivates everybody. Just fresh ideas all the time. And sometimes when things get tiring, we can communicate, and then we're very supportive of each other. We are aware that it's possible to burn out from doing this much work, So with that awareness, we sometimes like balance each other's activity. Yeah. And so that's management. So that's set A, shareholders. Set B. I don't want to label sets too much, but I feel like now we have internships now.
Yeah,
By the way, you're
exactly.
welcome to try like register or something, like, or whoever's watching the interview can sign up. We're looking for like 3 positions mainly, like event organizer,
Backstage stuff.
yeah, and tech and graphics. That's the main 3.
But like you have to contribute a time for that thing, right? So
For
that's,
sure.
So that's why I couldn't join that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Because
It's
I'm
3 months.
full-time.
Yeah.
I'm full-time student. So.
I see. Understandable.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
What qualities do you believe are most important in a business leader?
If there was a leader, he has to be very, I would say, like psychologically smart. Like he would have to know the dynamics of like being a human, because I feel like humans are very emotional, and we have our sets of patterns. How we do things are sometimes like pretty repetitive, but at the same time, when emotion comes into play, sometimes we make strange decisions where we don't usually make, even though we're a set of like habits. Even though we have set of habits, we do. So I think a good leader could see through that, and that's how you manage people well. You understand dynamics. It's just like understanding the venue and seasons. Humans have the same thing, and just communication skills. Directors, like leaders, shouldn't try to please everybody. At the same time, have people understand why things have to be done. And leaders shouldn't be too abusive. A lot of leaders are pretty abusive. From case studies, from things I look into. Sometimes it's good for the company, but it's very backwards as a person, just because abuse is like pretty degradation to like another human being, and it's always arguably better for some type of company, but for us, maybe for our business model, leaders are like should be open-minded to new ideas. Yeah.
Okay. How do you stay ahead of industry trends and innovations?
Just pure obsession. Like for example, I like to read, and I don't even subscribe to things like Business Insider and stuff, but I read a lot of autobiographies. That's when the writer wrote them themselves, and I get to see their like point of view. And in business, there's always like sometimes a challenge, and I remembered, I looked into this thing kind of happened in that book, but I would have to just do more research on that specific thing, not just go by what the book did or who did what, because it's so different from everybody. I think Reddit helps me a lot. Yeah, Reddit.
I do agree.
Right?
How has technology helped the way you operate? He said the technology helped us in a big way when it comes to operations, POS system, and ticket vendors. And also Instagram page is our main asset. What keeps him motivated every day? Seeing the band he wants to see and knowing that people who came enjoyed it as much as he did. What legacy do he hope in the business would leave? He wants people to know that it's important to dream and start anything if you love it enough, whether it makes money or not.